Hi class. With this video, I would like to give you a brief overview of how to approach writing your case study, to which you will have several to do this semester. But before I begin with the specifics of the case study, it's important to note that when it comes to writing, there are certain purposes. You might be aware that there is a purpose to inform, to persuade, and to entertain. However, in business communications, there is a fourth purpose, and that is to collaborate. So you should keep that in mind as you approach writing a case study. And you could have a twofold purpose. And in your case study, you very may well look to inform your colleagues and your supervisors to a situation, as well to look to collaborate for further development to address a situation within the workplace. But for the most part, you could be looking to inform your audience of your findings and your analysis to a situation that has been developing in the work environment. So let's look at this page here, which you can find in the course shell, and this is from week 2, and the page is called the Case Study Analysis. So essentially what you are asked to do is you are giving a report. And just like I said the other day, there are different forms of communication. There's a memo, an email, blog post, a report, even an infographic. All are giving information, persuading to an idea, and so forth. But basically, a case study acts like a report, and you are giving a succinct picture of a recommendation and a solution to a problem. So in your case study, you will be given a hypothetical situation. You will act as an employee of a said company, and for the most part, you're looking to address an issue and to also look to solve the problem by giving certain solutions and ultimately giving a recommendation. So before I go any further to what goes inside a case study, let's take a look at the case study that you will be doing next week. And it is in week 2, and this is case study JetBlue. So you can see in the beginning, I have an overview of the company JetBlue. Overview socializing the customer service experience. So it's quite lengthy information about the case study. And down below, you can see there are 4 choices, 4 hypothetical situations to which you will select one, and you will address the following challenge. So I'm not going to read through each one, but you can do that on your own, but you will select one, and you will then compile an analysis by doing a brief research through the library and looking at the course book. For this particular case study, you would refer to chapter 2, okay? So you will pick one case study, and then you will put together your case study, and it should have the following. It should have an introduction where you will identify the key problems and issue in the case study. You will formulate and include a thesis statement summarizing the outcomes of your analysis in 1 to 2 sentences. You will provide background of the company, relevant facts, information. And the third point would be alternatives. In alternatives, you could outline possible alternatives, but not all of them, and explain why these alternatives would not work. What are also constraints and reasons, and why these alternatives are not possible at this time. In the next section, you will have your proposed solution. In your proposed solution, you can provide one specific and realistic solution to the situation, explain why you've chosen this solution, support it with solid evidence, and then incorporate concepts from the text readings, discussions, lectures, etc. Here is where you would find at least one outside source to support this proposed solution. So you do have to go to the library and look for something that is related to the scenario you have chosen. Okay, and if need be, you could also provide a personal anecdote to support why this solution is the best. And then you would end with your recommendation. You would determine and discuss specific strategies for how this recommendation or how it would be implemented, who is responsible, and what would be the lasting effects of it. So this is probably the most important part, and I would put a lot of attention into the recommendation area because it really would solidify what is the overall purpose of the case study. Is you want to move forward and you want to prevent the issue at hand to never happen again. So specifics of the case study, and you can see, if I can't move the screen up anymore, here I'll do it like this. There are specifics to the case study. So what I would be looking for is that your case study is just about 2 pages. It does not, and I will not read beyond 2 pages. Your case study should follow standard formatting. Very simply, have Times New Roman size 12 font. It should be single spaced. A cover sheet is not required, nor do you have to have page numbers because it's only 2 pages. However, you should provide a simple title at the top, along with your full name and the deadline of the case study. I will be looking for you to use the subheadings such as introduction, background, alternatives, proposed solution, recommendation, and so forth, because it's easy for me to see where or what is the logic of the case study. And let's see. And I also include that you are writing a report, not an essay, and so you should use appropriate academic formal tone. You should try to avoid using first person, which is I, avoid using second person you, and try to avoid using contractions or conversational terms, because imagine you are writing a report for a superior who would be looking at this report, and the more professional tone you have, the more credibility you would have in the likelihood that it would be, this recommendation would be implemented within the business. So let's look at an example of 2 case studies, and I pulled them up here, the sample 1 and the sample 2. So I'm going to pull this one up here. This is one of them. And so you can see it's very simple. It has the students, well, student A, the date, and look at that. This person decided to create their own titles. So how JetBlue handles the social media crisis. You can see it's single spaced, and there are source integrations from an outside source, and this person chose to use APA. So again, you can use MLA or APA citation style. And this person also decided to create their own titles, but I could tell this was background, solutions, conclusion. I'm okay with that. As long as you have subheadings, I know the direction that the case study is going. Secondly, the person included references because the person chose to use APA, and he went above and beyond the 2 source requirement. You should have at least 1 outside source, and you should cite your course book, the John V. Thill and Beauvais Cortland. Okay? So this person has 1, 2, 3, 5 sources, but really you just need 2. Okay, so this is one example of a case study. Let me show you another one. So again, this person has, again, their name, the date, H&R case study, and then they gave the little title for the scenario that they chose. But this person chose to do very simple: introduction, background, alternatives, proposed solution, recommendation, and they have their references. So this is what your case study should look like. And again, these 2 examples are sample 1 and sample 2 in the case study page here. So again, I just want to reiterate that you are taking on a hypothetical situation, And for the JetBlue one, you are going to act as a customer service representative. You are in the customer service representative, and let's just look really quickly at what it says here under the case study. It says, imagine that you've joined the Twitter team at JetBlue, one of the more than 24 communications specialists tasked with monitoring conversations about the company. So you are a communications specialist. And so you are tasked with monitoring conversations about the company in the Twitter sphere and responding to questions, requests, and complaints from passengers. Use what you've learned from chapters 1 and 2 of your textbook to address one of the following challenges. So as a communication specialist, how would you handle one of these challenges? And again, you're going to incorporate introduction, background, alternatives, proposed solution, recommendation, case, and solutions. Okay? So if you just follow the outline here and try to put as many as you can of the sub-bullets, you will do fine. And again, if you are curious, you can look at the rubric here. I have 5 criteria: identification of main issue, analysis and evaluation of the issue and problem, recommendation, links to course readings and additional research, and writing mechanics. So follow all of these guidelines and you will surely write a very successful and informative case study. So thank you very much for listening, and I will see everyone soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.